Hello and welcome everyone. Today is the 29th of October, which means that it's my birthday, and I decided to make a little video for you about the plugin that I've recently been given. And I will do so on the example of the beat that you're currently hearing. Do you notice anything weird about the beat? I will show you what's weird about it. Check out this note. And now check out an octave higher. If you have perfect pitch or somewhat reasonable pitch, you notice that this is not an octave actually. I don't have perfect pitch, by the way, so I belong to the second group. But what if we compare these two notes? Now this seems to be an octave. So what's going on here? Let's check out the intervals. This is 9 All of these notes can only be played in 9 So there are 9 pitch classes per octave, and then it starts with the next octave. And that is true for every single track in here. And there is no plugin on all of these tracks that converts the notes. Like a while ago I made this plugin called Xen, which lets you change the Xen scale, and you could do something like this. And then it would convert the incoming MIDI into something that would be interpreted as 9 by every synthesizer that is MPE compatible. But it doesn't work in Bitwig because Bitwig doesn't let plugins manipulate pitch bend data. Bitwig, however, works with MTS-ESP, which is sort of a library. I think it can be added to plugins, and then they support MTS-ESP, and then it lets you globally change the tuning system of your project, which sounds very abstract when you read it on this GitHub page, but in practice it's actually really easy. Let's just go to the master and check out this plugin called Pitch Grid, which you can set to MTS-ESP mode, and then it will make sure that all of the pitches in this whole project will be interpreted as the tuning system described in this plugin if they support MTS-ESP. Now, first of all, that means that I couldn't use my beloved Synth 1, because Synth 1 is an old plugin from a time before MTS-ESP and even before MPE, so that doesn't work. I had to make a full beat only with Serum 2, and I don't know which other synthesizer that I have has MTS-ESP support, but Serum 2 definitely has. Unlike MPE, you don't even have to set MTS-ESP to enabled or something, like you have to enable MPE if you need it, but MTS-ESP is just in it by default. MPE is very difficult to set up, in my opinion. You always have to have all of these different settings and enable stuff and set the MPE pitch bend range and stuff like that. It's very complicated. MTS-ESP, however, is really easy. It just tells all of the notes that they have to be interpreted to a very specific frequency depending on the current tuning system. That is how I always envisioned microtonal work to be like. If I now took this same beat and played it back in 12 which is the Edo scale that we are usually comfortable with, it would sound like this. Which is not completely terrible, but you can hear that it was not composed with this in mind. And it also makes sense when you look at some of these intervals, like it just makes sense that this is a dissonant chord. When you are moving down in the Edo scale and go to 9 which means 9 steps per octave with the terminology of this plugin, then of course every interval is a little bit bigger and you can get to nicer chords with smaller intervals. So let's check out some nearby Edo scales while we're at it. This one is kinda nice. It sounds like it's questioning something. like this one too. Some of the notes get very high in pitch when you go down the Edo scale. This was supposed to sound like this. Still nice. It's kind of funny. Some of the bass notes are now so low that you cannot hear them anymore, but you can clearly see them in the oscilloscope. And it doesn't let you go lower than 3 steps, because at this point it gets just insane, which makes a lot of sense to limit it like that. If you imagine a 1-step Edo scale, that would be 1 Edo, there would be 1 pitch class per octave, which means you can only play octaves. So when we are approaching this point, it's just getting ridiculous, obviously. Let's go back to 9 Edo, because it was just composed for that. And now in the next phase, we will check out the other settings that you can do in this plugin to tweak the tuning system. Before going on, I have to tell you one thing, which is that I have no idea what exactly these parameters here do. I watched a video about it, but I felt like it was very abstract. So let's just try them, and then you will get a feeling for it at least. Interesting, this one sort of approaches what it would be like if you only have octaves. I already reported to the developer that it's not possible yet to somehow set this back to the default value, which would be cool. So if you are working with this plugin so far, you always have to keep another copy of it around with the settings that already worked for you. But yeah, I suppose that this will be implemented at some point. Similar to changing the step size, when you use stretch, you get more very low and very high pitches, but it's sort of different for some reason. The root frequency parameter seems to simply transpose everything. Also very useful, like You have composed something and you're just wondering, could it be that the sweet spot of everything is slightly somewhere else? And you can just try that from one single parameter. Like, that is something that I have always criticized about the way we handle tuning systems, that we always have to go into each synthesizer individually to change the master tune parameter. And because of that, no one ever changes the master tune parameter, because it would be just a hassle to try different master tunes, to go into every single plugin individually to change it. You know, it makes no sense at all, and we can clearly see that now. This is perfectly demonstrating my point. If it is available from a single knob and then applied globally to the whole project, then that just gives you a much nicer feeling about it. The only problem still left is that you have to load a plugin for that. This should actually be part of the project settings or something like that. Then it would be perfect. But yeah, MTS-ESP makes sure that we can actually get an approximation to how things should be. Okay, I have no idea what the depth thing does. And I have also no idea how to do something that lets me click on optimize, but doesn't matter. It's a great plugin. You can explore different tuning systems that all have unique characteristics and feelings, and you can even modulate between them, and you could make like an automation for that. Imagine that, I mean. Imagine you drop into a song like that. Obviously needs a little bit more care, but such a sick way to just start something, in my opinion. I will not touch these because last time I did, they didn't do anything that I understood at all. But yeah, I mean, this is still a learning process for me. I'm not much into music theory. I'm just looking for workflows to tweak it in a way that I understand. And I think this plugin does a great step forward in doing so. I probably haven't even scratched the surface. You can also click on these things and do something about that for some reason. And I don't know what you can do with the piano roll down here. Maybe you can just see what the frequencies are or something, I don't know. You can also use this in other modes, by the way. If you don't have a DAW that is MTS-ESP compatible, you can also just put it into MPE mode. But then obviously you cannot load it on the master channel, but you have to put it in front of the plugin that you want to manipulate the MIDI of, because MPE is per track. And this plugin says it's recommended, but I personally just love the MTS-ESP support. And I don't know what the others are for, but yeah, there are more modes if you're interested in that. Yeah, check it out. Pitch Grid, let's go.